In this video, I'm going to be talking about the one thing that you can shift right now to become rich, right? And it's just the one shift that you need. Now, if you're new to my channel, then you don't know this, but I will literally break down the meaning of rich for you in a way that will literally rewire your mind right now to a completely new way of thinking that can shift you into riches almost instantly. So stay till the very end and let's get started. Rich, let's go. Those of you who already know this style, you're gonna love this one. So what is rich? Because many of us get confused with the meaning of rich, right? We look at rich as status, or symbols of richness can be clothing, branding, fashion, you know, big houses, big cars, all that stuff. But none of that is actually what rich truly means, okay? And this is a richness that you need to understand. Rich is simply rewiring. Go another route. I have loads of different synonyms for this, but I'm going to go with this one for this video's purposes. In my course, I teach multiple different ways of this same thing. But in here, we're going to go rewiring your inner consciousness for harvest. Okay. Now, this can also stand for receiving intuitive currency happily. Okay, I'm just going to write that underneath. So riches is rewiring your inner consciousness to harvest. To or for harvest. I'd probably say for, actually. We'll change that. So it's for harvest. So that you can receive intuitive currency happily. Or holistically. Whichever word floats your boat, right? But this is literally what riches is. Rich, rewiring your inner consciousness for harvest in order to receive intuitive currency happily. I'm just going to pause on this because this, if you understand this principle fundamentally, right, really get this into your head, this is what it means to be rich, especially as we move into this age of Aquarius era where everything is power to the mind. And so mind is simply consciousness, right? Mind, fifth dimension, awareness. Everything starts here. So what is rewiring? Now, if those of you who don't know, you'll get a little clip in a minute about my mindset mastery program membership. In there, we rewire your brain to decondition from all the conditions of society. Now, when we are growing up between the ages of 0 and 6, our subconscious mind is being conditioned and primed like a sponge absorbing water from all of the thoughts and beliefs and stories and memories and experiences around us, right? And that becomes our dominant belief system, which becomes our dominant vibration that we operate on. Now, the majority of us are sent to school. The majority of us are taught in school to get a job, which means just over broke and also working for somebody else. In my money video, which might be placed up here somewhere, I explain how working for somebody else is simply borrowing somebody else's energy of money. And when we start to build our own businesses, we actually swap that and we start to just create money from within ourselves, which means we are not reliant on jobs and other people outside of ourselves. We are simply being, and we are channeling money from within ourselves, right? From our self-worth, our values, our energy. There's a whole system to it, which you can check out in my Money Mastery program below as well. But the only thing that you need, right, to be rich now, and this one shift that you need to make this happen, because you might be sitting there going, oh, okay, is it just rewiring my brain? No, because rewiring goes deeper than this, right? Rewiring has an entire process. Let's dive into this now. So remember, rich is rewiring your inner consciousness. Remember, inner consciousness is very, very important. I'm not saying outer consciousness, because we have the entire world that operates on outer consciousness. What is outer consciousness? Let's dive into that. Let me just let's go into this a bit more. So you will come out this end of this video feeling way richer than you did before the start of it, hopefully. Just all in the mind. So rich, let's do it. Dive in. Inner consciousness harvest. So we have inner consciousness and we have outer. Inner consciousness, we'll dive into that in a minute. Let's start with outer consciousness, because this is what you want to stop doing, right? We want to be stopping here and we want to be starting here. This is the first thing that I want you to focus on, because this is key to the one main thing that I'm going to tell you in just a second, what it is to be rich, right? The only shift that you need to make. And this is part of, so you need to understand what outer consciousness is. Outer consciousness is anything worldly outside of yourself. Now, when I explain the self, I'm talking about your physical body. Okay, this is the material plane of existence. Also known as the 3D reality, third dimension. Outer consciousness is everything associated outside of yourself. It's your physical body, so anything that you are consuming around your physical body. This could be health, this could be beauty, this could be makeup, this could be procedures, this could be the news, like news, social media, scrolling, anything body related, right? Murder, movies, anything that you are literally consuming, football, sports, celebrity gossip, anything, all of this comes under outer consciousness. This is your awareness and your focus is completely outside of yourself. You're not focusing inward. You're not focusing on your inner consciousness. That's why you're not rich. If you're clicking on this video, you do not have an internal rich world and you don't have riches either. Okay, because you're focusing on the outer consciousness. Now, everything that I teach is universal principle based and in going within. Okay, it's all about getting rich spiritually, universally. I don't really like the spiritual term either, but it's universally getting rich. Okay, using the universal laws of the universe, universal principles. So if that's outer consciousness you need to stop doing, that means cut half of this shit out and swap it for focusing on your inner consciousness. Okay, remember, rich, rewiring, and this is where the rewiring comes in. We slowly start to rewire, and I'll go over how rewiring works in just a second in the brain. But what you were doing is basically, I'll talk about that in just a sec. Let's finish this. So inner consciousness, which is what we need to start doing, is everything in your inner mind. Okay, in everything inside your soul. Now, notice that I said soul, which means we are now moving into, you know, I said, this is the mental plane. Okay. Oh, yeah, mental plane, which is 5D reality. Fifth dimension, consciousness, inner consciousness is this. Okay, everything that exists within your mind is your inner consciousness. So ideas, imagination, creativity, all starts with the mind, okay? And when you learn about astrology, there are two ways you can use astrology. You can learn for the worldly events, which is again focusing on the outer reality outside of yourself, and that can also put you into states of fears. I hear it all the time. Oh, Mercury retrograde, so that means there's going to be disruption. That's disruption outside of yourself. We don't want to be using these tools for outer consciousness because it blocks us. We want to be using astrology to understand our inner consciousness. Astrology really helped me to understand, oh, I have an Aquarius moon sign, which is also in the house of Scorpio, which means I easily read other people. I have a skill, I have a gift. I can read other people, I can channel messages from the fifth dimension. I have a super powerful, fast lightning speed mind. All of this stuff, right? I learned from astrology. So you can utilize it, or, and same with, I'm a projection, human design, all of this stuff. Or I could look at it like, Mercury retrograde, which means I'm not going to film now because I'm just going to have tech issues. I'm not going to be rich, living in fear, using a tool that could be used both, because remember, we live in a world of duality, right? So there's two sides to the same coin. You can use the same tool. I always give this knife example. You can use a knife to stab somebody, external, outer consciousness, using it for shit. Or you get the same knife, you bake a beautiful cake for your son, and then you cut that cake with it and feed him. Using your internal, your imagination of, I'm going to bake a cake and then I'm going to use the tool that way. Inner reflection, inner world, inner riches, okay? So every single tool, money, wealth, soulmates, like everything has two sides to it. And the way in which we manifest also comes from two aspects. And so we've got to be mindful about the two aspects of everything in order to not get stuck into the opposite side. That's actually a blocker to receiving your riches, your wealth. So now that you know the difference between the inner consciousness and the outer consciousness, remember, rich is rewiring your inner consciousness for harvest, okay? So what this means is all your beliefs inside here in your mind, because don't forget your mind also are your house of thoughts, okay? So in your little house internally, if you've taken on this stuff and you've put it in your inner world, then your inner world is going to be blocking your harvest, because all you are focused on is news, social media, fear-mongering, murder that's happening, movies, that you're allowing this to wire in the belief system in your mind. So when we say rewire, you have to first take this stuff out of the house, okay? Let me draw a bigger house up here. When we say rewiring, this is your house that you have chucked all of this shit in, so it's clogged up. So first we have to remove that, which means remove this side. Remove yourself from focusing your mind, your inner consciousness needs to stop focusing on all of this stuff, first of all. That will be like a detox to the mind and the body and the spirit. You're detoxing. In what happens when you detox? You either shed weight, right? You lose fat. You lose some gunk, you lose crap from your body. You're going to lose that shit from your house too. Then you have an empty house. You don't want an empty house because then you're not going to have anything inner conscious to harvest, right? That's like no seed. When in a farming agricultural aspect, you need to plant a seed. So this rewiring your inner consciousness is what you're going to start to do now to harvest it. What do you want to be rewiring into this new space? Well, what's going to create wealth? What are you good at? And we'll go back to astrology here and human design. This can showcase your gifts if you don't already know it, but your past experiences will give you evidence and proof of what your skill sets are or what skill sets you need to develop. This is where your investment in yourself comes in, right? So part of the rewiring is investing in you. This can look like buying books, personal development, self-growth. All the books that I read are usually mentors that I end up working with at some point in my journey. People on YouTube as well who I love watching, I love learning from. If they're giving you a perspective shift that you've never heard before. Myself, I am constantly investing 24/7 because I have deconditioned majority of my mind on this side. I've had the empty house and now I'm pouring it with absolutely everything that I want for my rich life. And it keeps coming through. And it's amazing. If you learn this and you know this, like this is literally rich in itself, right? And I'm giving it to you for free. Like this, if you know, you have the power. This is the shit that I teach my clients. People will pay me $5,000 to get this information, and I'll just be more specific as to exactly what is sitting in their house, because some people, they've cleared out lots of the stuff and sometimes they'll have one little thing that they still can't pinpoint what is it that's keeping them blocked. And I will literally just be like, okay, in that session, there you go. This is removed now. And then they'll have an empty house and I'll be like also pouring in, okay, right, the first thing you want to start with, let's build your house. But you guys, you do this and you're going to be rich. So once you start investing in you, your intuition will guide you. So remember I said the soul, right? You want to be following the mental plane with your soul's voice. Now this is again, when you know your inner reality and your inner world so deeply, you would have spent the time and effort and focus on understanding how your intuition works, how your intuition speaks to you, because every single one of us are unique and different in how it communicates through us, right? I am a soundboarding intuition. So in human design, my intuition is soundboarding. So when I speak, I'm literally channeling from the universe and I'm listening to my own voice to make a decision of what's true, what's not true, what's correct, what's incorrect. You have all different types, so you want to go and dive into that as well. Again, I teach this in my manifestation mastery program, so you can grab that below. Go and check all of that stuff out. So once you start investing in you with this inner consciousness, at some point you will notice you become a new identity, a new version of yourself, to the degree that you probably don't even recognize the old version. You're like, where's that old version gone? Like I'm not even that person anymore. And you start to, your social circles might change. People around you might start to be like, oh, you've changed. I can't pinpoint, but you've changed. And change is a good thing. The one thing that I want you to get used to is embracing change, because if you don't change, you will live the same life, and the same life, if it's not rich right now, then why are you here? You're on this video because you want change, okay, and you just don't know how to do it. So you will start investing in yourself. You'll create a new identity. This new identity, hopefully, once you realize you've had all this gunk in there, the one realization, especially if you want to be rich, is you need to focus on money. Okay, now what is money? This side of the equation with the outer consciousness will show you that money is a physical, tangible coin, paper, digital thing that allows you to buy stuff. Yeah, but what is it when you come onto the inner consciousness? Money is simply an exchange of your soul's intuitive voice moving into some sort of action and providing some sort of value in the world. And in exchange for that, you receive money. It's just an exchange of value. This is why we say money is spiritual all the time, because it's just an energetic principle. It's just an energetic law of the universe, law of compensation. Google it. It's an actual law of the universe. And a lot of people talk about law of attraction, law of vibration, but they don't know the other 12 laws. Pardon me. So law of divine timing is another thing, which is where patience comes in, but law of compensation is the other thing. And so when you are shifting in your new identity and you learn about money, and you're learning from the right people, not people who are teaching from outer consciousness, because that can keep you stuck as well. This is, trust me, I've been through all of these stuckages, okay? I know this shit. You will get more stuck than ever before, and you'll find yourself back in this house, which is not what you want. That's not how you're going to get rich. Okay? So with this new identity, you want to be learning money from somebody who is teaching it from their inner consciousness, because their inner consciousness, the fifth dimension, is universal. And that's why at the beginning of this video, I told you the one thing that you need to shift, here it is. The one thing you need to shift, right? Let's just rub this out so I can write it for you. I bet you're excited. You're like, just hurry up, Janie. Stop rubbing that board. Patience. I'm teaching you patience. So every time I tell you patience is a virtue, because some of us, law of divine timing of, you know, you might have to wait 50 years before you see it. Like, was that guy who did KFC? I think he was like in his 60s or something before he even created and got his riches and was a millionaire. KFC, forgotten his name. But again, law of divine timing, patience. He lived his life, most of it. And then he received his riches. But that doesn't have to be you, trust me. You can be quicker than that. But patience is a virtue. So every time I wipe my board and you're getting impatient, just learn the skill of patience. That's what I'm teaching you. So the one shift to get you rich. You are currently a consumer. And I know this how? You're watching my video. Now, I'm not telling you not to watch people's videos. I still watch, but I only watch selectively people who are teaching from their inner consciousness, not external consciousness, okay? Now, the things they can be talking about, like I said, money can be something that is viewed as external, but the way in which they're teaching your soul will pick up on whether that is intuitive internal knowledge and energetic principles versus something that is more physical and strategy based, okay? Nothing that you do in this world should be entirely strategy based. Some of that can play a part at some point, but again, as a projector myself, strategies don't work for me at all. So everything is intuitive based. So right now you are a consumer. When you are consuming, you cannot harvest, because that's like the person who eats the fruit. Right? So you buy the fruit, first of all. You buy the fruit and then you eat the fruit. But the farmer is the one who gets the money, the cash. Now, some people say cash cow, right? Is the farmer. Because he plants his seeds, he waters it, he nourishes it, and he owns the entire cash cow. Anytime that he wants a fruit, he knows how to plant it. But you have to go to the farmer. You're reliant upon the cash cow. You are not the rich person. You're just eating the benefits and eating the fruit and buying the fruit. You're spending your money to do that. This person is planting their stuff and eating the fruit and without the buying in between. That's what you class as rich. So from consumer, you want to be switching to creator. This is why I say everybody is a creator of their own reality. Okay, so this is where you are going to sow your seeds. And this is going to bear the fruit that you sell. And then you eat plus relax with the fruits of your labor. That is the only difference between the not rich and the rich. It's that the rich are creating and consuming. Less consumption though, more creating. The broke, the poor, the middle class, consuming. Constantly consuming social media, Netflix, movies, all this garbage from outside, but barely creating anything. And now there is a process and a system as well. This is what I teach in my money mastery, which you can check out the description below. But this is literally the one big shift that you need to make. And I'm going to go dive deeper into this. So if you haven't subscribe, like this video, comment as well if this makes sense. And if you're loving this shit, because I'm loving teaching it. And start creating. And I'll dive deeper into way more of how and what you need to be doing specifically. But you want to be the creator to get rich. Mwah.